In rural Cambodia, where people's livelihoods are dependent on agriculture, more than half of all rural Cambodian households keep poultry. Local bird breeds are the highest in demand in the local market, especially during festivals and celebrations. The problem has been a high mortality rate for the chickens due to diseases, particularly starting in March until May. The loss of between 5% and 7% is considered as normal. One contributing issue is the rarity for farmers to use veterinary services and vaccines. In some cases, the local villagers have given up the production of backyard chicken farming, which then makes it difficult for them to believe this can be a valuable source of income. Before, we were raising chickens in an ordinary way, with only normal cages. There were not any of such special cages. Back then, the chickens came back at night to sleep. If they were sick, they would all die. There was nothing to prevent it. We also had no idea what to do about it. We bought some medicine and mixed it with water for them to drink, but they did not drink much of it. They drank the water in the jungles, and they all died. The efforts to revitalize the backyard chicken industry by many other projects to promote poultry production have taken conventional approaches. The Comprehensive Chicken Production Initiative by Ifad is different. The model includes 1. Setting up the chick production enterprise. 2. Setting up the chicken fattening group. 3. Linking the chicken fattening group to chick production unit. And finally, 4. Building the chick production unit to become an extension of the chicken fattening group. The initiative used a private livestock specialist, SSP3, who trained farmers on improved chicken raising practices and techniques, including vaccination, animal health, and feed making. SSP3 worked to build up the education of local small entrepreneurs, who later became hatchers and suppliers of chicks to the villagers. The initiative also taught all participants to raise the chickens in enclosed spaces to prevent and control diseases, and the materials for those enclosures were sourced locally and were affordable. In some areas where the source of energy is not reliable, solar panel systems were introduced. The technique is that we put the chickens in a cage strong enough to prevent the chickens from getting out. What's important about raising what we call country chickens is feeding them in natural ways. We feed them rice bran, broken rice, vegetables, fish, corn, and so on. Another thing is hatching the eggs. We have the electric method and the solar method. We did a comparison and found out that the sunlight method is more profitable. The solar method greatly reduces the cost, especially of electricity, so it helps us save a lot of money. The solar method requires us to pay only once. The state's electricity is usually cut off, sometimes for a whole night. This model was tried alongside 2 cooperative specializations, Chick Hatching and Supply Cooperative and Chicken Fattening Cooperative. It proved that cooperative specialization worked best and has been introduced successfully with the IFAD-funded project Tonle Sap Poverty Reduction and Smallholder Development (TSSD). The project is co-financing between IFAD and ADB and may benefit up to 505,000 households around Tonle Sap area. At the time of the project evaluation in 2016, there were 10,556 households engaged in the Comprehensive Chicken Production Initiative. Of these households, 81% were the targeted vulnerable households, the poor and female-headed families. A number of positive changes and improvements have been observed, including 1. That more than 80% of the chicken farmers are becoming successful as the mortality rate of chickens has decreased significantly. 2. Farmers' migration also decreased and has completely stopped in some cases. 3. There has been a decline in food shortages among farmers and increased household nutrition and food security. 4. The rate of domestic violence has decreased among men and women. And finally, 6. With the support from IFAD, most of the poor farmers have elevated their income level and some have made it out of poverty. By joining the project in 2014, Taunta family in Kompong Cham province turned from migration worker in Thailand to be a chicken producer who produces 700 chickens a month and earns about $10,000 a year. Since I signed up for the project, my livelihood has been so much better in the past 4 years. We were able to use our earning from raising the chickens to buy a piece of land that cost $7,000 and build 2 sheds, which cost nearly $10,000 in total. I made more than $8,000 in the first year. In the second year, I made more than $10,000. I got money to buy the land and to build sheds for more chickens and the capital today thanks to the shed provided by Ifad and ADB. When I was still poor, my children could not all go to school. Now all of them go to school. Some of them are in grade 10 or 11, all because of the chickens and all our efforts. Given to this success, ADB and the government have extended the project into its second phase and scaled it up to more provinces.